This is the Bloodbath Behemoth tank, and you're watching Drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody, welcome to Drinking at Moe's. Host Big Mo here. Got lots of big things coming this month. Starting off June is kind of a death match themed month now that I think about it. Starting it off with a guy that's been all over IWTV, been IWA Mid-South Deathmatch champ, multiple time NWA Wildside Tag champ, the excuse me, Bloodbath Behemoth Tank. How the hell you doing?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Like I said, I think I mostly got introduced to you through, I believe it was between TWE Chattanooga and ICW No Holds Barred. Seeing
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff through both of those, and I'm like, damn. And I mean, you see deathmatch stuff, and it's like those guys are a whole different animal, like yourself and some of the other guys. Like I know GCW had a big deathmatch weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Tournament of Survival. And first off, like I like to ask most of my guests, what got you started as a fan? And then what got you started, wanting to jump into wrestling and jump into the world of death match on top of that?
Well, I'll show my age with this answer. I started watching wrestling when I was 9 years old, and it was because of the Mass Superstar beat up Mr. Wrestling 2 on Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
1979, 1980, somewhere around there. And he beat up Mr. Wrestling 2 and took his mask off. It was the end of the show. So I was like, shit, I got to watch this again next week. And then I watched it the next week, and I was hooked. And in Chattanooga, we had Ghoulish Wrestling. So I started watching it also. And then my dad would take me down on Saturday nights. And, I got to see so many, Bobby Eaton and Gypsy Joe and Tojo Yamamoto and Jackie Fargo and all these cool ass dudes when I was a kid.
That's awesome. I know my dad took me to my first wrestling show. I never really saw too much of the independent wrestling growing up because, I mean, around here, at the time, there wasn't a whole lot to offer. First show was a WWE show, and like I was third grade and seeing these giants walking by me. Like, remember at the time, one of the matches that when I heard this guy was going to be there, I was particularly excited about was Big Boss Man versus Yokozuna.
Mm-hmm.
And, me being this tiny little third grader and seeing, right by the entrance and Yokozuna's walking right by me, and I'm just looking up like, holy shit. And then I got introduced to independent wrestling when I was stationed in the Navy down in San Diego. Got to see people like Adam Pearce when he was the NWA champ. He came through quite often. B-Boy was a fast one of my favorites, and he's starting to make a little bit of a comeback, but seeing him on IWTV, like I mentioned with you, got a couple of the promotions that I've mentioned that I saw you through, TWE Chattanooga and ICW No Holds Barred. I remember recently, I believe it was like a pit fighter cage deal.
Uh-huh.
And that was something else. Like, and I believe that was, correct me if I'm wrong, that was with the they had TW Chattanooga on the wall there, wasn't it? Or was that
Yeah,
somewhere else?
it was at the TWE building, and that show is the one I wrestled Jaden. He's the owner and promoter of TWE.
Mm,
Jaden Newman. And that's the same building they're doing the Uncharted Territory now
yeah.
on Monday nights, and that's been pretty successful. I've had a couple of work. I wrestled Tony Deppen 2 weeks ago, and then Billy Starks last week. So
Oh,
I got a, and then at TWE I wrestled Rob Killjoy. So I'm trying to prove that I'm just not your deathmatch guy. I mean, I've been doing this shit 26 years.
yeah. No, that seems to be what I know a few guys that seem to be known more for deathmatch. They're trying to get out there and take more non-deathmatch bookings. So I know, I believe I've even seen one of the guys that's up at probably at the top of deathmatch right now, that Alex Colon.
Yeah.
He seems to be taking some non-deathmatch stuff. So, nice to get kind of well-rounded and not, I guess, like actors say when they get typecast for
Yeah.
a certain role. I imagine that same sort of a thing for wrestlers.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still love doing my death matches. I'm just the Uncharted Territory is not really like a death match promotion. So, like I said, I just want to be able to hang with some of these young kids and see if I can still do this shit or not.
Yeah, and I mean, you named off a couple pretty good ones there with Tony Deppen and Billy Starks, who I'm actually, as of right now, still scheduled to talk with her for the show on July 5th.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she's cool. Yeah, she's up and comer, man. She's so good and takes a lot of pride in what she does, which any new aspiring wrestlers, if you want to take after somebody's career, take after hers. And she's got the heart of a lion and tough as
Oh,
fucking nails.
oh yeah, no, and she's, for relatively young age, and I mean, I know some people like Nick Wayne are getting started pretty young. She's already accomplishing a hell of a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's only 17 years old. She's still in high school and has done more in 2 years than I did in 10, and I think it's cool as shit. Always on
And
the road somewhere.
yeah, yeah, no, she's all over. I believe recently with the whole Double or Nothing weekend, she was over there for, I'm wanting to say, Pro Wrestling Revolver. They had her down there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she did. She was in Las Vegas. She did 3 or 4 shows.
Yeah, no, a lot of those guys down there, especially for weekends like Double or Nothing, or, oh, for example, not too long ago, WrestleMania weekend. A lot of people getting in a ton of shows in a short amount of time.
Oh yeah, I did Tampa last year. I did 2 shows last year. So like I was talking to Jordan Oliver, and he had done like 9 fucking shows
That's
in 2 or 3 days, and I was like, yeah, fuck that. I was just give me a couple. I'm good. But
yeah,
they're out there grinding, trying to make some money, which that's great. But
yeah.
that shit takes a toll on you.
So yeah, no, I know the little bit of training with the pro wrestling boot camp I went to for a local promotion. I'm like, even the little bit that we did there with the, you know, cardio and the trying to think of it, the running the ropes and doing some bumping there. Like I was walking funny for about a week after.
Oh yeah, it's rough. I mean, now that I've been in it so long, you learn the tricks of the trade. Like my
Yeah.
cardio is fucking terrible. I don't work out. I'm just a fat fuck. So I chew gum because it controls my breathing. A lot of people, that's why I chew gum when I wrestle. That's because it helps me control my breathing. I don't get blowed up so quick.
Huh. Interesting. I never would have thought about something like that.
And then I always, I'll get hit and I'll spit it out. Everybody goes, "Oh goddamn, he just lost a tooth." So it's always a cool visual.
You know what? That I can see that happening, especially with the white colored gum they got out there.
Yeah.
That you can definitely get mistaken for getting a tooth knocked out.
I remember as a kid going to the shows and like whenever the guys would get hit, they would spit up in the air. I'd be like, "Oh, he just lost a tooth." My dad was always, "No, that's spit." I was like, "Are you sure? That looks like a fucking tooth."
Oh man, I remember something similar to that. I was just at Warrior Wrestling 22 in St. Louis, and this is the first time that I've ever actually seen something like this where, the guys are sweating so much that when they go to chop the other guy, you can literally see mists of the sweat flying off of them. I'd never, I guess maybe I've never paid close enough attention to it, but when I actually saw it, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I sweat profusely, and I like people slap the shit out of me, and the sweat will fly off my big ass head. I'm like, well, he just slapped the shit out of him. I was like, you gotta lay that shit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to mention another promotion that I had, doing my homework for the show today. Saw CZW. They kind of, I don't know what's been going on with them. They seem to kind of fallen off the radar.
Yeah, I really don't know either. I know when Zandig had it, it was a top tier independent, and then DJ Hyde took over. And apparently, it went to shit. He got away from death matches because it was known as a death match company, and then kind of what GCW is doing. The GCW, they're kind of getting off the death match. They'll do the death match shows, but some of the towns that they go to don't allow the glass and all the crazy shit. So you got to go to a state where it's legal. Like here in the South, it's pretty much you can do pretty much anything. But I know in Ohio there's like no glass, or South Carolina is like no blood whatsoever. You got to have a license to wrestle there.
Really?
Kentucky's no blood. Yeah.
Yeah, I know here I live in Omaha, Nebraska. I know they've had not so many death matches, but I know two of my really good friends actually a couple years ago did a Taipei death match. And that, I know you're aware, that's something else when you're in there with you're going to get hit with the sharp, jagged.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did a show this last weekend in Monroe, Georgia for Southern Fried Wrestling. And it's kind of a family friendly show. They don't do a whole lot of hardcore stuff. Well, they had booked me against this guy to do like a no holds barred match. So I took a few toys with me, and the dude I wrestled, I gave him the skewers, and I took a gusset plate. I let him hit me in the arm with it. And I took the gusset plate out, and like my whole arm was just covered in blood. And I saw like 6 people just get up and leave. They were like, "Yeah, this is too much."
I'll get into one of my categories later, one of my questions was about what weapon hurts the most, because I mean everybody seems to have their own opinion, but I'll go ahead and just ask this one now. What do you think would be the weapon that would hurt the most getting hit with? I've heard a lot of people say gusset plates after you brought that up.
If you do the gussets right, it's not too bad. But if I don't want to get hit with one stuck to like a 2x4 like Danny Havoc hit Masada with. If you place it right, you hit it right, and we're good to go. But the one thing that I refuse to do, because I've done it once, was I bumped into some cactus.
Ooh.
And all the little, needles were stuck in me, and I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'll never do this again. And Ian, that was for, I forgot what promotion it was. And then a few years later, Ian booked me in a match. We had cactus, and I was like, I ain't using that shit. So I did all I could not to bump on it. We worked around it, though.
Well, you brought up Ian. Was that for IWA Mid-South there? I know he does a lot there.
No, yeah, he was my first deathmatch tournament. It was in 2004. And I did it just to say that I did it. And then I did like 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 2015, and I'm doing the one this year also.
Oh, for IWA Mid-South?
Yeah, in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Chicago's got a lot of good stuff coming up here.
No, yeah. It's a hot wrestling town. It's just, it kind of gets watered down because there's so many promotions that run Chicago.
Yeah.
And they run so frequent there. And so hopefully that weekend will be a good weekend for everybody.
Oh, yeah. I know a handful of people that are going to be making it out there. And, I brought up Warrior Wrestling. I know they're doing a show basically right across the street from where the AEW is doing their big Forbidden Door show. And, Warrior puts on a pretty consistent product. And I know I haven't heard if GCW's going to be there that weekend or not. I imagine they might be.
Yeah, I don't know. I know in Nashville, SummerSlam's in Nashville July 30th, and there's already a ton of promotions running that weekend in Nashville.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that's kind of the running thing anymore. I know with a lot of the bigger promotions, and every time they do a big pay-per-view or something, there's all sorts of promotions that come in, and like you can basically make a weekend of going to wrestling shows.
Oh yeah, like Mania weekend's the big one, but then like SummerSlam, I guess they're trying to build it up, and then like probably like Royal Rumble will be the next one, or Survivor Series or something. I mean, if you go to a town that they're in a fucking stadium, 80,000 people, maybe some of those 80,000 will be like, oh, there's an independent show the day before. Let's go to that.
Yeah, that's a thing I know I've noticed after getting introduced to independent wrestling is you can get just as close at a WWE show and pay like more than half, less than half, I guess would be the better way to put it, than you would at WWE. Like I know local promotion here, you can get front row ringside for like $20.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 20, 25, that's the going rate. I know like ICW, they pretty much they'll do a front row, and then it's like standing room only after that, and we just packed buildings out that way. You know, and a good independent, 20, $25 for front row. You go to a front row for SummerSlam, you're going to pay $5,000.
Oh yeah, easily.
Or WrestleMania, or even just like a WWF house show is a couple $100.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I know. Well, this was a couple months ago, back when it was still winter. They had, believe, SmackDown was in town. My wife surprised me with tickets because I had looked, and I'm like, all the ones that I was pulling up were easily 150 at least.
Oh yeah, that's a normal rate.
Yeah, definitely for them, especially the televised shows. Um, do you pay attention to a lot of the current crop of wrestling?
Not really, to be honest with you. I mean, I watch more AEW than I do WWE, and I don't really keep up with it that much. I have friends that do. They keep me in the loop. I record it every week, and if something cool happens, I'll go back and watch it. But as far as sitting down and watching a whole show, I hadn't done that since they've been on TV.
Yeah, I'll admit myself, I probably pay a little more attention to the AEW product than WWE. I know I have YouTube TV and I can just record it, and if I can watch it live, cool. If not, I can always come back a day or two later.
Oh yeah, and then like in WWE, I mean, I try to keep up with AJ Styles because he was one of my Wild Side buddies,
Mm.
and he's always, man, he's so fucking good, like one of the best in the world today.
Your video cut out for a second, but yeah, no, I completely agree. When it comes to AJ Styles, he has been consistently at the top of the wrestling business, and one of the probably the most well-respected guys that I know of.
Oh yeah,
Like, I know he came here to Omaha, like in between when he left TNA, or now Impact, and went over to Japan. He made a stop here, and that was a show that I knew I definitely wasn't going to miss.
yeah. He's him going to WWE was a big deal. He did his last indie show in Georgia like the week before. He'd already debuted WWE, but they let him do this one last show in Georgia. And he's been, I mean, shit. An off night for AJ is a 5-star match for anybody else. That's how good he is.
I can definitely agree. I know that people lately seem to have a lot of complaints with WWE, and I mean, yeah, there's some stuff that even I don't get, but everything I hear as far as like stuff you brought up with AJ Styles is, they'll let people finish out their commitments on like the indies, and not just like, okay, you're signed with us, you're here, you're not going anywhere else.
Yeah, back in 2017, we had a Wild Side reunion show, and AJ, they gave him the night off, and he showed up. It was a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I remember hearing about that. I can't really remember. Was he just like in the crowd, or was he able to like actually like say something in the ring?
Yeah, he actually came out. I mean, they had a video. I didn't know he was going to be there. I mean, it was a surprise to me, and he shows up. I'm like, holy shit, what are you doing here? And he's like, hey, old man. And we shot the shit, and they filmed a video of him in the back, and like the video kept messing up, and then he comes walking out the 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 walkway, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I know they've done that with a few people. I know AEW's done that with. I know they've had Adam Cole showing up at. I think there was the promotion that he got his first big run with the independence when he got started. They allowed him to go back there, and he got to do something for them. So it's pretty cool when the big companies let their people go and do stuff like that.
Yeah, AEW. I mean, they're a lot more lenient because a lot of those guys still do a bunch of indie dates.
Oh yeah,
I know. FTR. They're booked. They do a lot of shows in like North and South Carolina, and let's see. Punk hadn't done anything on the Indies, and Danielson hadn't. But Moxley works for GCW and at Pro Wrestling Revolver. So,
yeah.
they want to pay these guys because I'm sure they're not cheap.
I can imagine.
If it's in your budget to bring in John Moxley, you might as well bring him in. He's gonna put asses in the seats.
Oh, that is for sure. I know you brought up him working with Revolver. I know a while back they had, I believe it was right around the time that Sami Callihan got injured. He was supposed to be at the show for Revolver, and him and Moxley were gonna reunite that tag team they had. I believe in CZW, the Switchblades,
The Switchblade Conspiracy or something. I think was their name.
Something like that, yeah. And now that Sami Callihan's coming back, I believe at one of their next shows in Des Moines, Iowa, they're gonna finally have that match.
Yeah, I think it's them and the American Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. I believe that's what I saw.
I know that's what I saw for the first time that they were booking that one. That's probably what that was. And I know he filled in for Eddie Kingston in a show in Washington State. Kingston got hurt and Moxley took his spot there. So, that dude loves the business. So he's going to go and do whatever the hell he wants to. Yeah, and he definitely has that personality that is like, you know what, I'm going to do what the fuck I want. And
yeah, exactly.
And you're going to have to damn near kill him to stop him.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I kind of like about AEW. You mentioned them being a little more lenient with it. They do allow their talents to go out and do shows like GCW or some of the smaller independent shows. And, if they're not necessarily being used too much on their program, it's like, yeah, why not,
Yeah. I mean, Kingston just did AIW in Cleveland like 2 weekends ago.
I heard about that.
He wrestled Isaiah Broner, who's another dude that's an up-and-coming hoss. He likes to beat people up.
Oh, yeah, and Kingston would be oh, man, I'd love to get to talk to him, but that's a story for another time. Well, I like to kind of gain and understand, like, everybody has interests outside of wrestling. What are some of yours, like, outside of when you're doing stuff for your shows?
I play video games.
Oh yeah, what system you have?
I was a PS4 guy forever. I kept trying to get a PS5, but never happened. So I went with the Xbox Series X, and this thing is fucking incredible. And for the last 4 or 5 months, I've been hooked on MLB The Show.
Oh,
I'm always a
Yeah,
Call of Duty guy, but I've been hooked on this baseball game.
you know, I remember last season when they first announced that MLB The Show was gonna actually be able to be on Xbox. I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting that.
Yeah, it's a cool game. And then I've got kids, so I got a 5-year-old, so we hang out and I aggravate the shit out of her, and she aggravates the shit out of me. And
You know, that's one thing I'm definitely hoping. Well, now that I'm actually able to share this on the show, my wife and I are, you brought up your kid. My wife and I are actually expecting our first, and we're actually expecting twins, and we found out they're both girls.
oh, nice. Well, congratulations. I've had three
They,
girls. I got a 24-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. But anyway, and they're all girls, and my oldest is pregnant with a girl, so I'll never have a boy in this fucking family. I'll be the last one, I guess.
yeah, no, that's when that's kind of funny. My wife kind of jokingly asked me if uh, if I thought I might want to try for a third and see if we get a boy. And I'm like, well, what the hell's to say that we won't end up with a third girl?
Yeah, no shit. Don't do it, brother. Don't do it. Nah, I'm just kidding.
No,
Nah,
we always kind of planned on, two and we're done.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
we're
Twins. That'll be twins is cool. When she do?
well, due date is in like tail end of November, but with twins, I guess they don't let you go the whole term.
Yeah,
So it'll probably be anywhere from like very end of October to like mid-November.
yeah. My 5-year-old, her birthday's on Halloween, so
Mm.
that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be. It's actually been brought up by a few people about having a Halloween baby because my wife is actually paid staff at this haunted house here in town during Halloween season, and I help out here and there, and we joked that it'd be kind of fitting knowing that to have a Halloween baby.
No, yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Mix of excited and nervous. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking. No, you'll handle it just fine, and you'll be good.
Oh yeah, I'm confident. All right, my two categories here. I have a speed round where I name off some people. You give me your first thoughts, and then lastly, I have a random question round where random questions and you answer how you see fit.
Okay.
All right. My speed round, I kind of like to theme around my guests. And since, a lot of people might be familiar with you through death matches, I figured I'm going to name some people here that are kind of synonymous with death matches. First off, they say he's the god of this shit, Nick Gage.
Uh, awesome. You know, he he's getting up there in age like me, but shit, he's still out there fucking humping it.
Yeah. No, have. I mean, he was there during Tournament of Survival. Actually, he did a little speech in the ring, and then he did quite a bit of commentary. Actually,
Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched it back. I ordered it on Fight TV, so I'm gonna go back and watch it.
yeah, I gotta finish up the Cage of Survival show. So here probably later here in a little bit, I'm probably going to start trying to finish that one.
Yeah.
But next one, two guys that have had some of the classic death matches. First off, Terry Funk.
Incredible. Probably top 5 best workers of all time.
Oh, yeah. Not just in death matches. I mean, you could say that for just regular wrestling with him, too.
Yeah.
That guy.
The greatest brawler of all time.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely agree. Next one, been friends with the last guy. Been the guy across the ring from him, too. Cactus Jack.
Great. Just the same thing. Great. I mean, he could do any damn thing. He's kind of like, I mean, I'm not saying my style is anywhere near as good as his, but like he could adapt. Like when I wrestled Tony Deppen, he's got his style. I got my brawling style, and we mashed it well together.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Billy Starks. If she's got her style, I got my style. We meshed it together. Like when he would wrestle guys like Shawn Michaels, 2 totally different styles, and the matches were fucking great.
Oh, yeah. They definitely had some great ones between those two. That's for sure. All right. Last on the speed round, a guy that made it to the finals of the Tournament of Survival, Matt Tremont.
Awesome dude. I've got to wrestle him 3 times. I'm 0-3, so he still owes me a match, so I can try to get that fucking win. Oh yeah, he's great. I mean, he's top tier talent. One of the best out there.
Oh, definitely.
I was about to say he's one of the best to ever do the death matches.
Oh yeah. Like I've talked with a few people, and people bring up, Mount Rushmore of this, Mount Rushmore of that. You can make a case for any of the 4 guys that we mentioned, Matt Tremont right up there with as far as like a Mount Rushmore of deathmatch wrestling.
Oh yeah, exactly.
All right. Next on to the random question round. We kind of already talked about one of the questions, so I'll just cross that one out. First one is going to be favorite food.
Pizza.
Oh yeah, can't argue with that one. No. I know.
Pizza and tacos is a close second.
You know what? I would have to agree with you. I know there's this one place here in town called Nettie's that I swear all my wife has to do is say the word Nettie's. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Some of the best damn tacos I've ever eaten. All right. Next one. Things you like to watch other than wrestling.
Horror movies, Star Wars shows.
Okay.
Like any of the Star Wars shows on like Disney Plus. I love all those. I'm a horror guy. Michael Myers is the man.
Oh yeah.
And baseball, football. Not much of a basketball guy. Baseball season, I'm watching a ton of baseball. Football season, watching a ton of football.
Oh yeah. Nope. I'm right there with you. I mean, when it comes to horror for me, yeah, I'm probably right there with you with Michael Myers. I know baseball. I mean, I got my if you're watching the YouTube version of this, San Diego Padres. I've been a fan of theirs since, Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman and those guys. I've just been a lifelong fan, and when I found out I was getting stationed there, I'm like, oh yeah. And like you, baseball and football for me when it comes to sports.
Yeah, I'm a Braves fan and a New Orleans Saints fan,
Okay.
and then Tennessee Vols for college.
Yeah, I can respect that. I mean, for me, when college, I mean, obviously, me living in Nebraska, follow my Huskers. My my dad inherited season tickets to pretty much Husker everything from his late uncle, and Nebraska has this storied sellout streak. They've been sold out every game for I forget how many damn years now, and my family has had season tickets in the family since that sellout streak started.
Nice, that's awesome.
Pretty fun. All right, next one. Best advice for new wrestlers.
I get asked this a lot. Just man, listen to the older guys. A lot of these there's some newer guys that they come in thinking that they know every fucking thing and they don't. I've been in 26 years and I'm still learning.
Yeah,
This is something that you're not going to know everything, and you just keep your mouth shut, and your ears open, and listen.
That is something. I mean, I know I talked with a wrestler by Scoot Andrews, ROH original there, and he said the same thing.
Well, Scoot came from the same mold as me. He's been around a while.
Yep, and we talked about how that little bit of advice can even go for anywhere in life, any job.
Oh
if
yeah.
you just keep your mouth shut and listen, you might figure out some stuff that you're having questions to.
I've had young guys be like, "Can you watch my match?" And I watch it. Then I try to tell them things that they did wrong, and then the one thing that just pisses me off is when they say, "But." No, just shut up and listen.
No,
when I'm done talking, and you tell me what the hell you want to say. And then, sometimes I just don't even watch the fucking match because they're not going to listen to me any goddamn way.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've had, hell, just even in friendships, really, when, people come to you for advice and then they don't even use it, act like they weren't even listening to what you were telling them.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's always annoying. I've had that more than I can count. Last but not least, favorite thing to do on your days off?
Play video games.
Can't argue with that. I have a Series S myself.
Okay.
When deciding to upgrade, I figured most of my collection was digital anyways, so I'm like, I'll just go with that one.
Oh yeah, it's so much easier that way.
Oh yeah,
I do like my disc, but and the best thing about the Xbox is that fucking Game Pass. I mean, it's $15 a month, and there's tons of games on there, and you can't find something on there, there's something wrong.
Oh yeah, I actually have that. I remember I got it right before I was having surgery, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be out for a couple weeks, and I'm gonna be at the house by myself, so I something extra to entertain myself.
Well, the show is on Game Pass, so you can always just play it on that.
You know what? I might have to do that. I haven't played the newest season yet, so I'm gonna have to get on that.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it.
And one of these days, maybe you'll have to add me on there.
Yeah, man, let me know.
I'll get my gamer tag once we get done here. Get that sent over to you. Well, that is about all I have. Where can people find you as far as social media and, plug some events you got coming up?
No, we got my Twitter is tank underscore EST 1996. Facebook is Warren Hollander, my real name. Instagram, Strong Style Psycho. I don't hardly ever post on there. I'm more of a Facebook guy. Twitter, so toxic. I don't even really get on there too much.
Yeah.
It's I'll get on there like the people tag me and shit, but man, it's just fucking weird. You say the wrong thing, man, and they're gonna cancel your ass. So I just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. That I can definitely relate to you there.
And this weekend, I got a death match with Gunnar Miller at Southern Honor in Canton, Georgia. Saturday, June 11th at TWE, Sink or Swim, the first live stream for them on IWTV on Wrestling Merc in a boot camp match.
Ooh.
And then next weekend, I'm in Knoxville for Total Psychopathic Wrestling. I'm in ICW in Michigan, July 1st and 2nd. That's all I can really think of right now. Too many dates to remember. That's why I have the Rev. That's why I have my manager, the Rev. He keeps up with all that shit for me.
Oh, yeah. No, there's a lot of days keeping yourself busy. And you brought up your manager. I believe he might follow me on Twitter, but, that picture and seeing him, with you at some of the shows that I've seen, he's one intimidating looking dude when he gets all ready for the show.
Oh, yeah. When you see him normally, you just laugh because he's like going bald and shit. I just laugh at him all the time. But no, he's an intimidating little fuck.
Well, when I get done editing and post the YouTube version, I will be sure links to, Twitter and everything in the description box. I'll try to get links to some of the shows and, hopefully get some more eyes on you.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
No problem, man.